Hey everyone, ignore that. I was putting that away. Ignore that. I was just making over on Facebook on my live a minute ago. I was making an example of my willpower, because these are my favourite sweets. There's like nearly 2 kilos of them. Yeah, that's my willpower because I've had these for ages, since my birthday, which was the end of October. So I was proving a point. I just haven't put them away yet. So let me do that. Hi. Hey, if you've just joined me from Facebook, how are you? How's your weekend been, guys? I don't know what's going on with my hair at the moment. I apologise. Who have we got? Hey, how are you? Let's put that over there. So, do have some questions, but if you've got any, fire away. Guess who's back? So, who have we got in the house? Who's in? I'll just go into some of the questions I've got. Someone asked, why do people use... This is funny, actually, because I was doing this earlier with someone. Any tips for willpower? I'll hold that one for a minute. Any tips for willpower? There's lots of ways of doing it. Depends what you struggle with. If it's things like excessive eating and things like that. So one good way of doing things is, so that massive box of sweets I just had. If I needed to, instead of just eating the whole lot, what I could do, I could put a handful in a small, in fact, hang on. If I wanted, I could pop a handful in little containers like that, and then that would be my allowance, if that makes sense. So that much, instead of having a massive load of anything like chocolate or whatever, you put a few squares or something in one of these little containers, and then when you know that's your allowance, that's all you have. You can do that with anything. You can do that with sweets, chocolate, anything really. I did it with someone with sugar once. They were putting loads and loads of sugar in their teas and coffees every day. And what I did was I got him to measure out. It was a bit over the top for some people, but got him to measure out how much sugar per day, a certain amount, and then we gradually got less and less and less. But he wasn't allowed to use any other sugar outside of that pot, so he couldn't just go and add more in. If that makes sense. So once it was gone, it was gone. That was his daily allowance of that sugar. So yeah, you can, instead of smashing a whole pack of digestive biscuits, have 2 biscuits, have 3 biscuits, have 4, but that's your allowance for that day, or that's your, do you know what I mean? Instead of cramming the whole lot down you, cut it down into smaller bite-sized chunks, if that makes sense. Hey everyone that's just joined. I guess saying no to things in general. It's not always about saying no. It's about moderation. Yeah? So, the fact that I have, I don't know how many, but these, I don't even drink that much, but these, say it was a pack of 15 or whatever it was that I have of these, if there's still 13 of them in my fridge, and I'm limited myself to 1 every other night, or do you know what I mean? I could go and have 8 of them, but I don't. See what I mean? So it is a willpower thing. It's just things are easier than others sometimes. Apologies. Don't punch the tripod. I think I need a lock on my snacks. Again, it's not always about restrictive too much, because it can make you want to binge, and then you might go the other way and have too many. But there's definitely a cause for limiting what you can have, and knowing that is your allowance for that day, or that you can only have, I don't know, watching the TV, you're only allowed to watch 2 hours of TV a night instead of sitting there for 8 hours. Do you know what I mean? That's your allowance, that's what you can have. You can't go over it, so choose wisely what you're going to watch. Do you know what I mean? So you can apply it to anything. You can apply it to exercise. Instead of exercising for hours or loads, right, I'm only going to do this much for this amount of time on this day. You know, I'm sure some of you would easily be able to. Food is an easier analogy because people will tend to binge food, but it's like the pizza slice thing. Have you ever done that analogy where you could allocate one pizza slice per day? Yes, it'd be minging by the end of the week, but instead of having all of it in one go, you break it down into small, achievable, bite-sized goals. If that makes any sense. Yeah, hey, everyone's just joined. Who's got some questions, fitness related, that sort of stuff? Oh, is it worth using a technique stick, was one of the questions I got. Basically, has anyone ever seen me doing like barbell work like over my head and stuff like that, where like snatches and things like that, clean and jerks? You probably must have if you've seen my stuff. But one of the things you can use is like a broomstick, and that can be for like shoulder mobility stuff, you know, warming up. Some people, you know, might use like a mop handle or whatever it is. You can get specific lightened bars that do this same thing. I remember seeing one for 700 quid, and it was 2.5 kilos. Outrageous. I just got a couple of broom handles from Travis Perkins. I think one of my clients got me them actually. And yeah, and it has the same purpose. No, you can't load weight onto it, but it's for getting technique and stuff. Yeah, no, I think that's a good idea. Again, gradually having something that you could use. You know those studio pump bars where you get like a set where we're not in lockdown because they're like sold out, but it's a hollow bar, and you can get a pair of 5 kilo, a pair of 2.5, a pair of 1.25 kilos, some collars on it, and you can add or take away, and it's, you know, it's like a small bar, that sort of thing, where it's not too heavy, and you can do different things. I definitely use the technique stuff quite a lot. Like I say, you can buy specific, you know, on my Facebook Live, if you were on my Facebook Live, when I was talking about bumper plates, you can get specific technique plates that are, you know, 2.5 kilos, but they're the right sort of size and shape, so you don't have to go super heavy when trying to learn a certain lift. But again, those are ridiculous money, absolutely ridiculous, like 180 quid for 2, things like that. So that broom handle, yeah, see, Lynette knows broom handles. Again, it's just if you're not used to a certain movement, you're not used to having your shoulders above your head, and if you haven't got the shoulder mobility, doing it with a 20 kilo or a 15 kilo metal Olympic barbell is going to be too much for most people. So that's why these things exist. And then that actually goes on to another question I had about standard versus Olympic. What should I buy and why? So basically, I mean, this would be better if I had visual aids for you. I don't have any here. A standard bar is 1 inch in diameter. And sometimes you'll see them with like the spin lock, the threaded ends, the spin lock ones. Again, you can Google. If you look at, I've just got some adjustable dumbbells that go up to 50 kilos. Those are standard. But if you look at my barbell stuff, it's a 2 inch diameter. The main thing is that the Olympic barbells, they're tested to hold more weight, and they've got slightly different uses. If you're just doing stuff at home, especially if you're locked down and not ready to go back to a gym yet, you're not really going to make much of a difference. Chances are you might be able to find more things that are compatible with Olympic stuff. Unless you get some really old rusty weights that are standard off of some bloke off Facebook. Again, it doesn't really matter. Some of the, I learnt before I even knew what Olympic weights were. I learnt all of that stuff with standard weights. But again, what I was saying about the technique bar, Olympic bars are generally, say, 15 kilos for what they call a ladies bar, which is ridiculous, but Americans for you. Like a 6 foot barbell that's 15 kilos, or a 7 foot one that's 20 kilos. So, but what the standard bars would be, again, you can get them at 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, whatever. Same, lots of different lengths and different uses for them, but they're going to weigh a lot less. So, I think one of my old standard barbells was about 8 kilos. So you get the idea. So it's just a lot less metal and a lot less. But again, if you're still doing for a technique thing, that can work. And you've got any more questions for that? Again, also standard weights tend to be cheaper than Olympic ones. Not by much, and depends where you go, if they're second hand, all that sort of stuff. Olympic just tend to a bit more of a pull towards Olympic stuff. And if you were buying a machine or you'd go to a gym, there'd be Olympic ones. Do you know what I mean? So people go with what they know as well. Like I bought a full set of Primal Strength bumper plates because I'd used them before and I knew the quality. I've used lots of different plates. Yes, I'd have loved Eleiko ones that are ridiculous money, but yeah, no, I paid enough for mine. It's frozen. Have I frozen, have I? People still there? You still hear me? Well, hopefully this is alright. Let me know if it's frozen, guys. Might be the internet. I do not know. Internet has been a bit iffy around here lately. Hey Lara, hey everyone. It's unfrozen now. Okay, cool. So, again, lots of different things for different purposes. So, that one, I'll mark that one as done. So, another one I get asked is resistance machines versus cable machines. So some of you won't know what this means, but in gyms, you know the machines that you can get like a chest press machine or a lat pull down machine compared to using like the cables, if that makes sense. Does anyone know what I'm on about? they both have their purposes. Resistance machines were originally invented for bodybuilders, and the cables have, got constant tension, so they work in pretty similar ways. But you could probably do more with, say, a cable machine. I think the person that asked me was thinking about kitting their little gym out, so I probably would have gone with a cable machine myself, just because a chest press machine is just a chest press machine. Do you know what I mean? Well, it depends on the actual movement and the actual exercise of what you want to achieve. Like, if I was to buy it, would I buy a leg press machine rather than a cable machine? Don't know. It depends what you're using it for. But a cable machine, you've got the versatility. So you can do lat pull downs. You can do, if it's adjustable and stuff, you can do vertical, horizontal pulling. You can do pushing from it as well. Say a dedicated machine like a chest press, you can pretty much only do a chest press with it. Whereas a cable machine, if you imagine, it's just a cable, so you can do, rotation, you can do pulling. Chances are you can do like chin ups on it and stuff if it's a good one. There's lots of different. There wasn't really much context behind the question on that one. But yeah, they've all got their purposes. The question is, what do you want to use it for? What is the purpose of what are you trying to work on? If that makes sense. There's no point you buying a cable machine if you want to learn how to squat better. It's not really gonna. Yes, you could do things on it. It would help, but it's not. Need some context there, buddy. Yeah, both are good. Again, if it's a space thing, I'd probably go with a cable machine rather than have. If in our ideal world, you'd have enough space for a leg curler, leg press, adductor machine. All these different separate machines. You'd have the space for all of them, I guess. That's why people go to gyms. Some people are just content with a barbell and a squat rack. So, it's normally the simplest things are the best. Try not to overcomplicate stuff as well. I see a lot of people that are trying to do too much, especially when they're new to the gym. They're doing too much. They're trying to overcomplicate things. The simplest things are the best. Definitely. Any more questions, guys? How's your weekend been? What are your plans for this week? What are your goals for this week? Let me know. Or have I frozen again? It's pretty cold outside. It's pretty freezing out there as well. Who have we got? Who have we got in here, by the way? Who's in? Just tells me a number. Doesn't tell me who. Well, in that case, have a good week. If anyone's got any questions, let me know. Any recommendations? Any things you'd like to see more of? I do this for you lot, so all of my social media, all that sort of stuff, it's to benefit you guys. So trust me, I'd have a much easier life if I didn't do it. So if you need anything, if you want me to go over a certain thing, if you want to learn a certain thing, first things first, I would join the battle group, because everything priority is going in there. Trying to get work experience. and being consistent and working out. Oh, okay, yeah. So the consistency thing again, it's just repetition, doing the same thing over and over again. Like learning to drive, you know, you might need 20 lessons in a car before you're ready to sit your test. If that makes sense. Oh, you asked about duvet sets. Check out Debenhams online. Debenhams going under, aren't they? I think they might be bought. They'll be bought out. They've been around too long, haven't they? Hundreds of years. Good shout. Thanks, Em. Was that Friday I asked about duvet sets? Do need some more. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I'm gonna can it there, guys. So, like I say, if you need anything from me, let me know. And have a good week. If I don't see you, if I'm not PTing you this week, have an awesome week for the rest of you. Hit me up with your questions. Inbox is always open. Just might take a little bit of time getting back to you if it's the middle of the night. Apologies those that I do. Some of you in different countries. I'm in the UK, so when your time zone's a bit different to mine. So apologies. The other day when I got messaged at 2 a.m, somehow my phone was on loud, and it woke me up. But yeah, apologies that I didn't get back to you straight away. It's because it was 2 a.m. But yeah, always here when you need it. I'll see you later, guys.